are live. This is a wonderful day indeed. This is a wonderful day indeed. Let me go behind there and we will get started with Dr. Cornelio Marfield of Belize. I'm so happy to be welcoming him today. So I just hit stream on Facebook. We should be live on Facebook. If you want to share it to your friends. And here we go. Welcome, welcome, beautiful kings and queens, all our friends and family tuning in today. As you can see, we have a special treat here for you with my very good friend and child of the Most High, Dr. Cornelio Marfield of Belize. He's a naturopathic doctor who has been helping people overcome all different kinds of diseases, sicknesses, from diabetes to high cholesterol, anything you can imagine. He's been helping people to lose weight, put on weight if they need to put on weight, cleanse their blood, cleanse their mind, cleanse their heart, their bowels, detoxify the bowels, get them to eliminate better, which is so important. And today we're going to be presenting to you a very special hands-on demo that you can do at home to help you cleanse and purify and build your blood, right? So today we have some amazing information from Dr. Marfield, who's going to share from his knowledge and also his experience with thousands of patients. And he will be telling us more about the health benefits of these foods and why it's so important to build our blood and to have good circulation and healthy, strong blood. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. You truly are an amazing, amazing teacher, mentor, and friend to me and to so many all around the world. Not just in Belize. You are in Belize, but you also help people internationally with everything that you have to share. So it's a great honor to have you here today. Welcome to everybody who's tuning in. And if you have any questions too, I will be monitoring the Facebook chat. So feel free to ask any questions on there.
Okay, so hi, welcome too. It's good to be here. I'm just trying to see how I can get my Facebook connected to yours. So I am on your page, but I'm not seeing the program running yet. Is it going live there? I just want to clarify. Facebook connected to yours.
Yes,
so I am
it is. Whoops, sorry. It is. What I could do is share it onto your Facebook right now.
Okay, let's do
that. I'll share
that.
it onto your page.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, so while Miss Aline is sharing that to my page, I want to say welcome to. This is our second of the many shows we plan to do. And again, I believe divine providence have got us where we are together because myself and Aline has been talking a lot for years about trying to see how we can get cleansing going, particularly in the country of Belize. And I am so happy, I am so pleased, and I'm so honored that we have this opportunity now whereby we can start to do programs like these. It's a blessing indeed. And I am so excited. I'm really, really excited to know that we have this opportunity to share. And today we will talk about this powerful, important topic about cleansing and building the blood. And Aline, all night I was processing about the blood, and the thing that came to my mind was what one of my instructor in nutrition taught me in the States, and that was life is in the blood. And it's a deep statement and it's a deep thought. Life is in the blood. And I was thinking about that thought, when you consider and you think about the many things that the blood can do, the blood is a stream, it's a highway, it's a passageway to the many cells that need so much thing, nutrients, oxygen. They themselves need to detox the cell. At the cellular level, there is waste produced every day. And it is that bloodstream, and particularly things like the red blood cells, that will toxic and carry those toxins away from the cells and bring good oxygen and nutrients to the cell. So life is in the blood. It's actually a passage in the scripture. It's a biblical and it's a godly thought that when God says life is in the blood, I look at it from not just spiritual, but I went into the depths of looking at what happened if you go and you have to take a blood test and they would pull out a vial of blood intravenously. And what they do, they send that through a centrifugal machine, and they will just break down the blood into the many subdivisions it has. It has in platelets, the many white blood cells, it has in all of these components that makes blood so needed. The day you stop having blood is the day you will die. Somebody gets shot, they bleed to death. I remember I had a friend. We were in the country setting, and I was helping him to put up some barbed wires, and one of the barbed wire kind of ripped his finger, and his finger was not bleeding. And I said, something is wrong with you. There was like only water coming out. I said, I'm only seeing the plasma of your blood. There is no RBC in there. And I told him, and I suggested him, he should go and do a blood test. And he went, and amazingly, his blood was only at 4.5. Now, there are measurements that would suggest that, from a laboratory perspective, that your blood for like an adult female should be between 12 and 14, for males about 13 to 16. His was way at 4. And I understood that principle then, because I saw a man that is basically dying in front of me because he did not have enough blood, and the red blood cells in particular, which is the taxi, like I said, of these many things, including your white blood cells, your platelets, your nutrients, hormones, etc. So indeed, life is in the blood, Aline. And I'm so happy we are going to talk about what nature has to offer to help clean the blood, to help build the blood. I'm all excited because there's so much to share this morning. And so I'm happy that we are here again, and I'm pleased that we can share knowledge with our friends this morning.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. We are definitely here by divine providence. God has definitely brought us together to share this information and knowledge that could potentially save somebody's life or somebody that we love. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. That's what we've been doing on ourselves as well. And what happened to your friend was also divine providence. These things that happen in our life that some might say, oh, it's a coincidence, are actually divine interventions. They are there to show us what's really going on, whether it's a cut, whether it's fainting, whether it's a pain. Our body sometimes whispers and sometimes it screams like, pay attention to me, pay attention to what's going on, take stock of what's happening inside. So that's really amazing. So I really encourage everybody who's watching right now, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about, now we know the importance of having strong blood, but what are some of the symptoms that somebody can, find within themselves to know that their blood isn't very strong, or they don't have a lot of blood? Are there any signs that somebody can look at right now with their general state of health to know if they need some support?
Well, if we do the old school method, if you remember when you were small, Granny would take you and he would pull down and he would look on your eyes. Just your eyes alone can speak volume. If I pull down on under this lid, there is basically, it doesn't look red like my shirt, and it's very clear or white, then we already can indicate that your blood is low. But again, looking under your palms of your hands or your feet, if it looks pretty white or clear and there is no seemingly looking of blood flow, that's another. But again, a lot of people will notice when they feel lethargic. Normally, when you're feeling tired easily, lethargic, it is sign that there is something wrong with the blood flow and the bloodstream itself. And again, like I said, a good thing is to do some laboratory tests. Now, there's a lot of stuff with the blood. If I go and do a comprehensive chemistry or a hematology test, where I'm going to look at all the intricacy of my blood, triglyceride, cholesterol, I'm going to look at all of this. It's amazing what all you can find from a simple chemistry test of the blood. And so if you are having symptoms, this is my thing now, if you are having symptoms, then definitely you would want to make sure that you're paying very keen attention to how your body is feeling. Like you said, your body will speak to you and we must listen. So I know, like, if I'm feeling really run down or tired, I already know that these are not the best signs. I'm having some issue and I got to try to clean my blood. And, the truth is, Aline, our blood is becoming increasingly impure because of so many factors. Because I remember I did a presentation to a group of ladies at a program once in the past in Belmopan, and I'm into my cleansing. I like to talk about colon cleanse, liver cleanse, blood cleanse, kidney cleanse, organ and blood cleansing. And so a lady raised her hand and she asked me the question. She said, but why do we need to cleanse? And I said, that's a powerful question. I said, then my response is, why don't we need to cleanse when we consider what all we are exposed to every day? I mean, from oxidative stress to not getting enough rest, junk food, GMO food, even what we consider good food, all the pesticides, these are all toxins and chemicals that go straight to our bloodstream. Even from what we are thinking, the negative thoughts, all the fear, all the sadness, all the anxiety, all of these things create an adrenaline rush that is toxic by nature, will create an acidic condition in the blood, and will intermittently affects how our blood will perform. Chemical toxins, environmental toxins, things like the intake of toxic substance, whether it be drugs, excessive alcohol use, all of these things are constantly bombarding our system, and particularly the blood system, and eventually our blood will become impure. And I can say, once you have an impure blood, this will lead to various diseases. I work a lot with diabetics. I'm always talking about diabetics. And I'll tell you the truth, one of the major causes for type 2 diabetes, which is responsible for 90% of what we know as diabetes around the world, because you have type 1, you have type 2, you have gestational, which are generally caused by pregnancy. But the type 2 is more lifestyle related. And the truth of the reality is that particular diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is generally related to what people basically are doing with their system in the intake of food, the stresses of life, and chemical stuff, even cosmetics, deodorant. All of these things are toxins, and then the wrong kind of lipids or fat. People do a lot of 1, 2, 3 oil, more the cheaper processed oil. And what happened, the liver can only do so much, because the liver is really the first, he is what I call the immigration officer. Everything goes to the liver first. And if he cannot deal with all of that, then the body then converts all that toxins and lipids into lipotoxins. And those are stored at cellular level, and at your cells you have different receptors, including insulin receptors. Those get clogged up, and so we begin to have insulin resistance. All of this from the bloodstream. Not only that, that bloodstream is loaded with all this lot of processed food and a lot of carbs and refined sugar. It's running through the bloodstream. That bloodstream is moving, my dear, to every conceivable system, organ, tissue, cells. So when it gets to the pancreas and it runs through there is like a police checkpoint there. What's going on? What are you doing with all of this lot of sugar? So insulin is immediately produced, and then there is this constant vicious cycle. High insulin, high adrenaline rush, and this constant imbalance, so homeostasis is not maintained, and this is what causes disease and sickness. All the toxins that we spoke about earlier in the blood too eventually lead to cancer, lead to endometriosis, lead to hypertension. As a matter of fact, I'm suggesting that a lot of diseases of our body is identified in the blood. That is how deep our blood is, my dear beloved sisters and friends.
Such powerful information, such powerful information. Indeed, we are completely bombarded with so many toxins. You're right. And I really love how you talk about also the state of our mind, because it's not just the foods we eat, but it's also what are we thinking of? What are we consuming? What kind of music, what kind of movies, what kind of relationships we're in? It goes beyond the food. Are we practicing any kind of prayer or meditation daily? Are we exercising? Because exercise can really help to remove the toxins as well, to sweat, to, detoxify in so many different ways, get some sunlight. So definitely the foods. And that's why I always go back to like the best way to to live is to like get back to the land and, you know, grow our own food and know the soil that we're growing our food in, because I feel this as well, that there's so many pesticides in our food. No matter how much we clean them, it's really hard to eliminate them all. So that's definitely like such an important thing to consider. You know, whoever has the option, whoever has land, get together in communities too to grow your own food and get to know the importance of cleansing ourselves and cleaning out the bowels, because like you said, the body can only take so much until it completely breaks down. And, you know, we might be fine and for 20, and, you know, in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s, it starts to slow down. 50s, boom, oh, I got a cancer, or, you know, I got diabetes. This didn't just happen like that. That's what I think people need to understand too. Understand is that a disease doesn't just pop up because, oh, your mom has it or your dad has it or your grandma had it. No, it is lifestyle choices that we, you know, create into our life, so that we carry those habits and we activate those genes too. So, you know, it's not a death sentence because your family is diabetic that you have to be diabetic. Change your life and you will not have diabetes. Cleanse your blood, cleanse your bowels, detoxify, and you will not have diabetes naturally. You don't need the pharmaceuticals. You don't need the pills. You need to learn to eat properly. And also there's like, you know, we could cleanse our palate to start enjoying these foods. Some people think that, what would you say to people that, you know, really don't like it? They don't like vegetable, they don't like fruit, they don't like, you know, this kind of juice. How would you go about introducing this kind of cleansing to them if they've never been introduced to, you know, these concepts?
Yeah, you know, water is the most powerful cleanser. I always tell people, you want to start to clean out the system, just drink up lots and lots and lots of water, because that's the first original cleanser that I was introduced to when I went to study in the States at a medical missionary institution. They did a lot of hydrotherapy, both external and internal. So even before they touch our palate, we used to do steam baths. Because what we did, the steam baths, they had like a steam room there, and we would just get stuff sweating through the skin. Drinking a lot of water will enhance perspiration. So we are cleaning through skin, we are sweating, we are urinating. So you begin to remove some of those toxins, not even consciously recognizing that increased intake of water would assist. So we normally would say at least 7 days of excessive water and outside hydrotherapy treatments. If you would have access to like a sauna, or even sitting in the sun, or, you know, doing sauna blankets, those are ways to sort of pull out the toxins, because once you begin to detox whatever method you are using, then automatically the body will then encourage more of that. I always tell you about my infused lime water. It's a nice, I mean, it's a nice drink, and I put some mint leaf in there. Takes, and this is going to, like, I do this for 10 days, even before I get into the bitter herbs. This is a good way to start to just clean out the liver, like I said, and start to introduce your body to something a little bit detoxifying. Because some people don't like, I have here aloe vera. I soak aloe vera, and then I would just take this out and drink the pure of that in the morning, and it's a very good blood cleanser, by the way. And there's a rule, when you're trying to cleanse, it's going to be a lot of the bitter herbs. So people are going to have a lot of question about bitterness, because, you know, they say, oh, I have a rule: the bitter, the better. It's a Belizean saying, but it's a profound saying. The bitter, the better. So I always say, the bitter the herbs, the better the herbs. And I also have another rule with diabetics. I tell them, the sweeter the blood, the bitter the herbs, because the bitter herbs have been proven over and over to be outstanding in cleansing and in detoxifying the system. So if you, like I said, I would maybe suggest the infused lime water for 10 days. And then I would start to do, like, first thing in the morning, I would just do some aloe vera. That's an option. You can soak the aloe vera, drink it. It's a little bitter, I will confess. If your blood is low, this is an option here. If your blood is low, then this is what we call serosing, all right? Old school serosing. I just took this off of my tree, and I like Cerosi. Cerosi has a sense of humor because you see all of this in here? This is so sweet. Anybody know about bitter melon? When it's ripe, right, the inside is sweet. I can eat all of this. I can blend it up. It's so nice. But this is Cerosi. Normally, it's better you dry your herbs before you drink it, so you keep all that good potency in there. But Cerosi is old school in Belize, and you don't need a lot. And what I do, I boil it with raisin. So this here, if you notice clearly, the raisin have obviously, due to osmosis, have gotten a little swollen, but this is good. This is good stuff. I boiled this last night for about 5 minutes. I refrigerate it, and this is it's a very nice, good energy drink. And I am tricking my palate because the raisin is also a good blood builder, but the Cerosi is a good blood cleanser. So the combination here is I'm getting something tasty that will serve two purposes. The Cerosi will clean my blood, and the raisin will build it, and the combination of the two gives me a good blood. Now again, if your blood is already, like the thing with blood, that's why I said I like to do blood tests, because the blood test will reveal a lot to me. If your blood is already up to par, and you know it's at 14 and it doesn't have any, you check and there's no bacteria, there's no viral maybe, then you might not want to be doing this too long, because you don't want to overbuild your blood either. And by the way, our blood every 3 months regenerate. So that is something amazing, that the body is so fearfully and wonderfully made. But the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nation. I love it. You see, the Almighty knew what we would need, because when we were made in perfection, because we came from the dust of the earth, right? Where all the nutrients were. And when we were created and made in the image of our Creator, all this intricacy was put together. And the tree of life was in that garden back there in Ethiopia, in that part of the world, according to the good book. And everything was perfect. Everything was good. Actually, when man was made, it was told it was very good. But because we have been subjective to the disruption of the natural way of things, some people call it sin, some people call it contamination, whatever you want to call it, we know that we are living in a very abnormal world. Just look at Russia today and Ukraine, and we know that we are not living a normal life. People want to fight, we want to war, there is not much of the peace and love and harmony now. As a matter of fact, the good book says, as we wind down in this last times of earth history, the love of many wax cold. So our heart by nature and the composition, we have been infiltrated by all the negativity. So what the good book says, the herbarian seeds and all of these trees were placed for our benefit. So when you see me pulling out things like Tres Puntos is what we call what they call it, jackass bitters, or my favorite, Neem. All right, Neem is good to clean the blood. I actually take Neem, and I have a machine, and I pulverize Neem. I even make a blood cleanser. It's one of my best sellers. I capsule it, 2 capsules in the morning, 2 in the evening. And this is following protocols that I learned in medical missionary work and naturopathic medicine. Because you don't want to put too much, because bitter herbs can be very strong on our system, especially our liver. So you want to have like a 10 days cleansing. I wouldn't do this as a supplement. I just do this as a cleansing program. It's like I go and I just clean out, and then the body will kick in as I put the good nutrients. And that's important. Cleansing before building. I always tell people, there's people who come to me and they want a meal plan. I say, okay, you want a meal plan? Let's cleanse first. Let's clear up the system so that the system will be receptive. And I think that makes sense, right? When Christmas, everybody wants to put their nice whatever in their house. You got to clean up the wall, take off the cobweb. Everything every day is about cleansing. Before every day we bathe. Why do we bathe? Because of toxins. Could you imagine where those toxins are coming from? From our inside, outside. So you could imagine what's going on inside. We need to be keeping cleaning, my dear beloved sister. So there's so much thing. I have one more, and I'll let you talk. Contribo. All right. This is a vine, very bitter, a little piece, boil, and it's good to drink. So there is so much bitter herbs that we're just dealing with herbs. We have not get into chlorophyll yet. We have not get into the leaves of the tree yet, like You have different leaves. You have leaves that are herbal, and then you have leaves that are food. Even our food, we are going to learn in a few, is good for blood building, and we are going to learn about we're going to do a concoction today, right? We're going to both build our blood today, show how to build our blood today. But there's so much thing, Aline. I mean, my mind is so much place because there's so much wealth of information pertaining to what is in the ground. And I agree with you. One more thought. We got to start to plant our own food. You know, when you have a piece of land, by the way, these things, Neem, tres puntos, they things they just raise out of the ground. I don't know how, but it miraculously happens. Nobody ever plant jackass bitters, you know. Jackass bitters just grow naturally in the wild. It's amazing. The Spanish man call it tres puntos because it has 3 little points. You just need a couple leaves of that. You boil it like 10 leaves to a pot of water, which is about 500 ml water, and you can get a whole cleansing regime of half a glass every morning and evening to clean your blood for 10 days. Amazing. Amazing.
God is good. God has planted them for us. And in different parts of the world, there are different herbs, you know, for the location that we are in. I truly know this, you know, behold, I have given you every herb bearing, you know, seed that is upon the face of the earth, and every tree, you know, upon, like that, all the fruits that we need. So different parts of the world definitely have different herbs that are made for the people of the land wherever we are. So that's so powerful that you're sharing these with us. And definitely, I love to, you know, even each one of these, we could do a whole video to, you know, talk about the benefits and the healing miracles of each one of them. So yeah, and I love everything that you're showing us. Thank you so much for sharing. This is what it's all about.
I mean, there's so much. This is I get callaloo every day from my yard. I mean callaloo grows like crazy in my backyard, and I pull off. Look at these pretty leaves. This is pretty. Now, who would think that callaloo? You take some callaloo. I know you are more veganist, but if I would just take this callaloo and I would just steam fry it in some water. I put my onions, I saute it down in that water. I put a little bit of sweet pepper, and because to eat this is cellulose. It's hard to digest easily. So sometimes when we help break it down, then with our mouth starting with amylase to help further break it down, it's easier observed. So you have some food. You can't eat rice like that, right? So you got, although I'm not into the rice right now, but you know, you have some food, you got to prepare it, at least by cooking. But this here, I just saute it down for 5 minutes in some water. And man, this is the nicest thing, man. I'm telling you, you can eat this so lovely. I mean, for people who would want to do other things, you can do so much thing with callaloo. But my daughter, she has a little vegetarian, vegan restaurant, and I ate this at her place yesterday. It was so delicious. A little bit of cayenne pepper, a little bit of turmeric, mix up some cilantro, culantro in there, and nature takes care of itself. So, and you see all this green pigmentation, Aline, chlorophyll. Man, I've got so wise now, they sell it. We actually sell it at my establishment, but chlorophyll is so loaded. All right, they call it the Hulk drink. Some people call it the plant, the blood plant. All right, the blood plant, because the truth is chlorophyll is powerful. Chlorophyll is the plant blood. And one of the things I like about chlorophyll, that pigment that is found in all the green plants that the good Lord placed, the Lord had a interesting biochemistry background, because when he looked at our blood and he looked at the chlorophyll, he designed them that they would complement each other. So what is interesting about the hemoglobin, the hemoglobin has 4 heme groups at each corner, and at the middle is your iron, which is the component that makes your blood looks red. If you look at that beside a chlorophyll molecule, the chlorophyll has identical structure like the heme, the 4 heme. The only difference is at the middle is magnesium. God is a good God. When I look at how he is the great, because the truth of the reality is He fearfully and wonderfully put all of these things together, including our body, and he knew exactly what we would need in a time, especially when the world degenerates as well as our body. And I'm just fascinated. I mean, I was doing some research more on chlorophyll, and I would like to share a few of it. Apart from chlorophyll will cleanse the blood, it also binds with heavy metal. Isn't that amazing? It binds with heavy metal. It helps remove the toxins from the blood. It will cleanse the bowel. All right, so you prevent all that backflow. It will increase red blood cell count. What? Chlorophyll I'm talking about. So the more green you eat, and it's amazing because this is the very thing a lot of people don't like. They don't want their lettuce, they don't want the green stuff, and the green stuff is where the good stuff is. It's where the original cleansing nutrients are. You know, the chlorophyll actually helps to oxygenate your blood. And this is the key here. Cancer, for example, can only exist in an acidic blood and an acidic system. If I oxygenate that blood, it will become alkaline. I have an oxygenating machine that I had invested in. And I'll be honest with you, I oxygenate my water, I oxygenate my liquids, because once I have the system oxygenated, it becomes alkaline. It removes all the parasites, all the microbes, whether it be viral, bacterial. As a matter of fact, in my field of foot care, I do ozonation. I have an ozone machine, and I would take an open wound, and this is naturopathic. The medical hospital won't do this. This is in my field. I take a foot and I ozone it, Aline, and I wrap that foot and I make sure all that ozone going there, and it engulfs all those toxins and parasites and microbes. It's amazing. Could you imagine when oxygen is enhanced? Because the truth is, one of the reasons why we get stroke, why we get necrosis in diabetic foot, and we get cancer is because the oxygen has been depleted. And if you don't get, for example, if I have plaque arteries, like in my aorta is my major arteries that will take oxygenated blood to the brain. If that thing is cut off, automatically I will get a stroke because I have short circuit the oxygen that needs to get to the cell. All living cells need oxygen to operate. And that is why we need good blood to flow properly. Because it's not just about having the blood, but it's having it flowing properly. That's why therapies, whether it be massage, hydrotherapy, well, exercise, these things enhance. Good blood is enhanced by good circulation and good eating habits. That's the key. That's the formula to having good blood. So all of this combined is so critical so that we can have a good flowing stream of life called blood in the body, which is life itself. Isn't that amazing?
So amazing. Liquid sunshine right there. You know, the greens hold the key to our health and our vitality. I definitely feel that, and I've known that to be true in my own experience as well. And you said something interesting about physically detoxing through the skin, that you know, when we consume these a lot, especially the chlorophyll, if we take chlorophyll daily and we really cleanse ourselves, we don't smell the same. So when we have this like pungent smell that comes from our body, this like, you know, needing to wash all the time, and, you know, like from the armpits and other parts of the body, like when we're clean, we're really not supposed to smell. So I feel like that's also an indicator that we need to cleanse our blood and cleanse our system, is the smell, right? Our breath, our body. So when we do start to, you know, detox in these ways, we just become more clean in every kind of way. The skin, the eyes, the skin, like the smell, everything starts to be, because we're getting back to nature. We're getting back to the state in which we're supposed to be, which is consuming the bitter herbs, consuming the greens, consuming the fruit from the tree.
I like this. I love it.
Belize is so rich, you know, Belize is so rich with mango and oranges, lime. Like there is an abundance. This is the Garden of Eden, you know. Being in Belize is the most incredible thing in the world because everything grows so well. So I really encourage everybody to look towards nature, look towards what's right there in the backyard. I used to hear stories, and kids still do it. They go up the beach in Placencia, go get, cocoa plum or the sea grapes, and they would fill up on the sea grapes. But I feel like things have changed too over the years, in replacement for these junk foods and the Coca-Cola and these chips. And, we're not seeing the same problems that were, they didn't have these problems 50 years ago. And I mean, here, everywhere, all over the world, not just in Belize, but, we're seeing an increase in obesity rates and diabetes and heart problems that was not there 50 or 100 years ago, when people were consuming mostly fruits, veggies, herbs, fish. There was no processed foods in the diet. So, this is really a result of industrialization, the influence of Americans and Chinese or whatever it is. But yeah, these issues weren't there. So go back to nature and we won't have these same issues that we used to have, that we didn't have before. We used to live much longer too.
Back to the Garden of Eden. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, I'm thinking about what's happening around us. I mean, because inevitably war will drain the economical status. And when that started happening, we already see oil going up. So everything will get more expensive. The food will go up. And this is another reason why apart from the keeping the food pure and not having pesticides, etc., it's going to get expensive, As a matter of fact, there comes a time where you and I will not be able to buy and sell if you don't have the mark of the beast. Whatever that will be at that time, when the time arises, you will need to be self-sustained. So I see wisdom now to be planting our own food, because we are living in a time where it seems that people are cold. I mean, people are not worrying about your life. And, there's this controversy going on every day. And the good book says, and our Savior said, I have come that you might have life and that you might have it abundantly. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And there are so much enemies that we are fighting that is trying to kill, steal, and destroy us, including the food, the drugs. All of these things around us are trying to kill us. And God is saying, I have put things around you. I have the blood of Christ that can cleanse you. I have the things that can build your blood around you that can cleanse you. I mean, whether we look at it psychologically, physically, spiritually, mentally, blood is always the essence of life. It's where healing is. And I love it, I just love it because, what would we be without the blood of Christ that came to die and save us? What would we be physically without having good blood, pure blood? Everybody that begins to get sick, I always tell them, check your blood. Every time somebody comes to see me, check your blood. Hypertension, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular, check the blood. And we are going to find the problem. It's amazing. Life is in the blood, and we are what we eat. We have reiterated this over and over. What is so marvelous, Aline, when we eat, we are either making nutrients to make a good bloodstream or a toxic bloodstream. That's deep, What we put in this mouth, we are just talking about this mouth. We haven't started with the brains and the other areas yet. Just what we put in this mouth, what reached down to our digestive system, which eventually become assimilated and then is diffused as what we call nutrients. Either broken down product will lead to good blood or a toxic blood. And whatever that outcome is, that is what is going to determine the other parts of our cells, tissues, and organs. We see a lot of cancer, a lot of fibroids, a lot of cysts, a lot of these things. It was never God's plan. There is a powerful verse, and I think I can quote it. Exodus 15:26 says, if you follow all the health principles, all the laws that I have given you, say, I will put none of these diseases that I have put on the Egyptian, because I am the God that heals you. Egyptian in prophecy is a symbol of the worldly way of doing things. Like you said, I think in your last show, you said something profound. It's a dead system. Everything is killed and preserved to be eaten, to kill and preserve you down the stretch. It's all dead stuff we are putting in. Live food gives a live body, dead food gives dead body. Live food gives live cells, dead food gives dead cells. And this has been proven electrical. I had a teacher that did a thing with carrots, and it showed how this electrical thing would light up when he put it in the solution of the carrots. The thing the bulb light up because of the electrolytes. He said, no, I put it on a piece of steak that was cooked and left there for overnight, and there is absolutely no light in that. It's dead food. As a matter of fact, a food of that nature that is denatured you before it even becomes out of your system. That's scary to be having something rotten. How much of us would want to have a piece of rotten meat in our house for 2 days? Worms will take it, it will smell bad. Now, could you imagine having that in our house? This house here, the temple. So I believe the cleansing regime is such a powerful thing, and I couldn't find a better topic indeed for us to talk about this morning, because this is where it all starts, at our blood and our bloodstream. We clear up the bloodstream, we build up the blood, we detoxify the blood. We are certainly on our way to good health. Certainly.
Yes, and we're raising our vibration. Everything you're saying is so true. And also, like, we're just raising our vibration in terms of how good we feel and how good our life gets. Because I truly believe that, you know, the more electricity we do have in our body, the more living foods we consume, the more living life we create around us too. And the more situations start to come our way, like we literally become these more like magnetic beings, right? Like we are making sacrifices, but there's also great rewards. You know, there's so many great rewards on the other side. You know, I was a meat eater. You know, people think like this is easy for me, but I face temptation every single day. You know, I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic, I was a smoker. Every single day I am faced with that temptation from the devil that tries to bring me down. And, you know, food choices too. Like it takes so much discipline in order to do this kind of lifestyle. And we do it because A, it feels better. B, we're not sick, we're not depressed anymore. And we get to live the life of our dreams way beyond the physical. You know, there's a physical, this is like the basis. This is the foundation of our life, of our good life. And if we don't take care of this sacred temple of God, like that's almost like an insult to him. It's almost like, you know, I'm insulting my creator, because how can I love him and not love what he created? How can I say I love him and I'm not treating myself with that love, dignity, and respect that he expects me to?
I like that. That's deep. I mean, if I lend you my car right now, I mean, and you bring it all broken, the pan is leaking oil, I open the engine, it's all messy and oily, I would feel insulted too. So I mean, we are a vehicle, and we should be good stewards of it. And you see, the Creator's desire is that he says, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. When my health text is in. Sorry, yeah. I guess they ask questions, but I'll have to entertain afterwards. I have come that you might have life and that you might have it abundantly. And he said, beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in best of health, just the way your soul prosper. And I just want to ask for apology because I decided to do the zooming on my phone. So I might just have to lower the volume because people are calling in, people are texting, and I appreciate the calls and texts, but I would prefer to finish the presentation and then I will go back to my Facebook and I will respond to the questions because we only have limited time. So my apologies for that. But I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I wish above all things that you may, you know, be in best of health. That is so important that we be in best of health. And so today I know we are already halfway through the show, and we want to, in a few, do a practical demonstration of a typical blood building juice. Now I would recommend this if your blood is low. Maybe you're anemic, you have what we call pernicious anemia. Maybe you did a blood test and it showed that maybe your blood is at 9 or 10, or maybe you're having the symptoms of having your blood being low. You're very tired and lethargic and weak. Like I would say, so just go and do a blood test, and if your blood count is low, then this is a good juice for you. You can do this periodically as an average person to build your blood, but I can share a quick short testimony. I have done this on quite a number of people. I remember I had a lady who was going to a surgery, and she had a challenging blood AB that was not easily to get a donor. And they told her she would not, she had like 7.5, and she could not do the operation, and she had to take out a fibroid, and it was so huge it had to get out because they're all bleeding, etc., etc. Excruciating pain coming in it. So she said the doctor told her that she needed to get the blood donated, or else they couldn't do the surgery. This girl was in excruciating pain, and so I some blood cleansing for you. And sure enough, I did this concoction that I'm going to share today. And man, I was amazed that not long thereafter, after doing it for about a week, she went back and she checked her blood, and it was almost at 12. And the doctor says, no, we can get this operation going. I just wanted to share that testimony among many other testimonies I have seen, what this concoction that we are going to prepare now as the practical demo and the climax of our show today, how amazing it is. But I'm talking about no other than beets as the major component. You know, when you cut beets, it bleeds. It literally bleeds like blood. I mean, just the looks of this can give you some indication of how powerful beets is. And I mean, beets alone, just the beets plant is actually a good blood purifier, and it's also a good liver detoxifier. So those already, we don't know, you clean the liver, you're going to have good blood, because that's the first guy that takes care of everything that passes to the blood. That's the health inspector, that's the immigration officer. So anything that enhances blood purification and liver cleansing is to be appraised. But one of the things that this has in is called betaline. This is now getting into the medicinal property. It has in betaline, and betaline is what actually gives it this red pigmentation as well. And there's so much thing to share about betaline this morning, Aline. I almost sound like I'm rhyming there. But betaline is so determined to get me. Betaline is so powerful that it contains antioxidants. And remember, we talked about antioxidant meaning cancer-fighting agents. So this betaline that we are looking at, this beautiful pigmentation, is also good to help lower the risk of heart problem, cancer. This betaline also have anti-inflammatory properties, antitoxin properties, blood building properties. So all of that loaded in just beets alone. Apart from the betaline, it also having nitrates. Studies show that this has in nitrates that will improve blood flow, which is so important. I think we spoke about this in our last show, how important it is for good circulation. So it will also promote good health, heart healthy condition, and it will also help with blood pressure and other cardiovascular issue. So it has in nitrate, it has in betaline, it has in nitrate, and then it also has in a load of vitamins and minerals that are very good. And it also have in vitamin C, and that is what makes this such a unique thing for the blood. Because, by the way, vitamin C, not a lot of people don't know this, but for you to get iron absorbed properly to build your blood, you need vitamin C to do that process. So you have to combine, whenever you are doing blood cleansing, you want to combine, you want to get iron along with vitamin C. And most doctors will tell you this. That's why when people blood are low, they give you folic acid, right? Or they will give you a heme compound in tablet form, but they will also tell you do it with vitamin C, because the vitamin C enhances the absorption of the iron. And that's why in today's juice, I'm going to squeeze a half of lime. You could have squeezed a half of orange after we finish juicing it, because that concoction, even though it's having some vitamin C, that gives it a potential ability for you to absorb the maximum of the hemoglobin property that is found in this beautiful red fruit, vegetables, I would call it. You know, this vegetable that is so amazing, Aline. I mean, I am just amazed every time I juice this thing and that redness. I have a testimony also to share. I remember I used to teach biology and chemistry for years, and we had a student who had anemia, and her parents were strict on pharmaceuticals, so they didn't want to do anything. They didn't even want to take folic acid. And I had introduced this juice, and this little girl, this young lady used to do this juice every morning, like how you like to juice in the morning, Aline. She would just juice. And it reached a stage one day she came to school and her lips were so pink and red like like this. Everybody was saying, I didn't know you wear lipstick, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't even the lipstick, it was just how her blood was getting so built and so nourished by this beautiful betaline that we spoke about. So I just wanted to share that. As a matter of fact, even in the cosmetic industry, when you deal with natural cosmetics now, I'm not talking about the one where they use this tubing and all of that, that will also toxic your cell. You put those certain makeups on your face and your skin, it's going straight in your bloodstream, it's going to toxic you. I'm talking about natural cosmetic where people would use things like this and the avocados and things that are very good for your skin. I mean, you apply that on your skin and man, you look rosy, they would say, right? You're glowing, it's amazing. So, you know, I just wanted to share that thought there too before we even get into that. And one more thing, because there's so much on my mind, but the carrot sap that we will combine it is also good. It has in beta carotene, it has in carotenoid, and it has in leucine and zeaxanthin and a whole lot of big name, which we don't have time to deal with. Very good to combine here. Also has in vitamin C that will work with the iron to build the blood. So even if you don't have an orange, if we combine just these two, this is a very good combination to quickly build the blood. So much thing to say, so little time to speak. I think we only have 15 more minutes, so maybe we can get into the blood building, juicing now, Miss Aline. So I'm going to go into my little station over here now. And so I want to give the little formula that I use here. I normally will use a small beet, or I'm going to use a half of a big beet. This is a medium-sized beet. I don't like to cut up it's good. Either you can do preps, but you would have to freeze it and juice it, because once you begin, like apple, if I cut the apple, within 10 seconds, all the potency of the apple will escape. That's why you see it gets oxidized and it begins to look darkened. So it's best when you're juicing, you do it fresh. You grab it, you juice it, you drink it. That's the rule. Because if you leave it, it's going to get oxidized and you lose a lot of the potency. So as I cut these up quickly, I'm going to juice. But what I'm going to do, I do a small beet, or I'm going to use a half of a big beet. I normally do a pound of carrots. I will do some celery, because the celery is good to work on the liver. That will also enhance the blood building. So I do like a piece of stock of celery. I get all my greens there, my chlorophyll as well. And I will do a piece of ginger. All right, ginger is also good to open the blood vessels. So I am getting a combination of thing here. And then I'll do cucumber. The cucumber works as my base. Either I can do that, or if I have the infused lime water, I can pour it in. But I like the cucumber because it's 90% water, and it also have a lot of microminerals. Okay, and then I'm going to do an apple too. An apple a day, keep the doctor away, they say. Apple also having some vitamin C. So I know you have a very high-tech machine. I still have an old school one. But this machine, by the way, I had bought this in Mexico. It's a heavy-duty machine there. So this is my juicer, but an ordinary juicer can work. But I would want to suggest the more you can invest in a better juicer, like maybe a Ninja or something that is more powerful and stronger, the more you will extract all the powerful nutrients. So like Aline, maybe you can tell us what kind of juicer you have there, and maybe for people especially that are abroad, how they can get it, no?
Yes, definitely. So I have the Nama J2. This is a new one. We just got it, and I am absolutely in love with it. It has been such a joy to use. You don't even have to cut the pieces so big. It just goes in there. You close it, and it is a cold press, slow masticating juicer. So if somebody is looking for a juicer, you definitely want to look at slow masticating as a rule of thumb. So this one is really amazing. I used to have a Kuvings. The Kuvings is really good. It's actually more expensive than this one. This one was, I believe, $550 US. 550, and the Kuvings is like maybe a little bit less than that, maybe like around 600. I'm thinking in Canadian dollars. So the Kuvings is a little bit more, but I also love the Kuvings. It's been my baby for many years, but now I'm a Nama girl. And also the Green Star Elite is a really great one. It has 2 blades. It's a twin blade system, also slow masticating. It just depends how you like to use it. That one has really great yield as well. Yeah, and the higher quality juicers definitely will have less oxidation. But anything is really great. But if you are going to invest, it's worth
You work with what you have, right?
$100. Sorry?
I said you got to work with what you have.
Exactly. We work with what we have. And even if you don't have a juicer, you can do a lot with a blender as well. The vegetables are a little bit more difficult, like the carrots, you can't really extract so much, or the beets. But if you want to do like fruit juices, you could definitely do, pineapple, watermelon. And then if you have a nut milk bag, you squeeze it out. You kind of like just put it in there and then you squeeze it out. Or you could even use like an old t-shirt. You put a t-shirt as the filter, you put it over a big bowl, pour that in there, get out the pulp, and you got watermelon juice.
Yeah.
Are we doing this? I also have some herbs. I got some watercress and I got some parsley too that I really love to put in my
Those are also good
juices.
for the blood. Very good blood cleansers and builders. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start with the blood. The blood itself. I mean, this is.
What? We can't hear you. Sometimes you go on mute. I did a video the other day and I was surprised that my blender wasn't sounding anything. I don't know if you could hear the blender.
Sorry?
Or not the blender, the juicer, I mean.
Sorry?
It was actually surprisingly quiet.
Oh yeah, this machine here is a strong machine, and so it makes a lot of noise. But I just want to make sure I get out the idea out there this morning about this beautiful blood builder that I have here.
Are you putting carrots as well, right?
Yeah, putting carrots. Yeah.
Who likes to juice? Who's watching? Let us know in the chat. Do you like to juice? What's your favorite juice? We got some juicers in our group and kings and queens of Raw in our community. We got some brave juice cleansing warriors who are only drinking juice to clean out the bowels, clean out the digestive tract, and clean out the parasites. That's some powerful healing right there too. I haven't eaten any solid foods in about 40 days plus. I only do juices right now.
Yeah.
I love these juices.
So this is how my juicer looks inside. It's a pretty big one, and I like it because I can take it down. I just take off. I loose from the middle, and then I can wash this. So this is where all the sieving takes place, no? Mm-hmm. All right. I think for mine, one of the carrots was a little bit too big, so it got a stuck in there. But once I have that going again, all right, then I can.
I really love too what you were talking about anemia. I think it's important to touch on this as well, because a lot of people think that when they struggle with anemia, they need meat. They need the iron, yes, but the iron from the meat is not really as well absorbed. Even you're not even going to get as much as you think you are. And then you're also getting the fat and, you know, the parasites and all that stuff that comes with the meat, when like really the iron that we need is in the greens to overcome the anemia. There's nothing in the animal product that's going to make you feel more energized. And you know, I don't I don't really care who comes and contradicts me on this. You can challenge this, but you know, dead devitalized matter is not going to bring you life. You know, the living foods are going to bring you life, like what you were saying. This is what brings you life.
Right. And I'm gonna definitely try to get me one of those juicer in due time, Aline, because my juicer still makes too much noise for me.
That's okay. Mine too. I can't hear you when it's on. We're doing
Yeah,
our best. It's okay.
yeah, but yeah, there we go. I mean, look at that. That is life. That is real life. That is real blood there. All the heme, the betaline, the nitrate. Like I said, we are what we eat. We are what we drink. And this morning we are doing a live presentation and talking about, you know, basically how we can build our blood, clean our blood, build our blood. Our food is really our medicine, and our medicine is our food. And if we do that, which we need to do, definitely we would see the results, and quickly too. So I just want to be thankful for the Creator's wisdom in providing these things in nature for us, so that we can use them and use them wisely for our health and even for our wealth. Because I always tell people, if you think health is expensive, try sickness.
Yeah.
So these are not just to treat diseases, they are actually to prevent diseases. And prevention is better than prescription, and caution is better than cure. So indeed, it's a pleasure this morning to have shared knowledge. I hope somebody learned something. We have looked at the bitter herbs, we have looked at chlorophyll, and we have looked at basically a powerful blood cleansing healing juice, basically made from a beet, a half a beet or a whole beet, one cucumber, a pound of carrots, one apple, a piece of celery stick, and a piece of ginger. And of course, I will squeeze in a little bit of, apart from giving it a kick, the vitamin C richness will help with the absorption most readily of that hemoglobin property that is found in beets, to even further quickly build the blood.
Yes. And the fun thing is with this is that you can play around with the measurements. You know what I mean? Like juicing is not like baking. You can do it however you like. If you want it a little bit sweeter, put a bit of extra, you know, apple, or put some pineapple in there. If you don't like it, if you like it bitter, put some more herbs. Some people love cilantro, some people love parsley, so they'll put a lot of those herbs. And, you know, it's not an exact science. So trust yourself. I remember when I started out, I felt kind of scared, you know, it was scary to start these new things. I didn't know how to make a smoothie. I didn't know how to make a juice. And over time, but we just have to start, you know, just get started, try it out. Some will be delicious, some might not, but, you know, you're going to experiment and you're going to be your own, you know, chef. You're going to be your own chef of nature. You know, nature cooked it perfectly and you're going to put it together. And the more you do it, the more you're going to see what you like and what you enjoy.
And there are natural sweeteners out there too for people who are transitioning and have sweet tooth. You know, you have dates, you have raisins, you know, you have carobs, you have so much things right there. Stevia. I mean, I am always fascinated with stevia. I mean, a leaf of a plant that is so sweet. I mean, that's amazing. And it's all natural. So we don't need any splendor, and we don't need any artificial. I like to tell people I like everything around me natural, everything. I don't like anything that looks too artificial. So I like to stick to the real deal. So, you know, I like to go back to nature, and the more natural something is for me, the better it will be.
Exactly. And we could all take steps today to make some changes. You know, sometimes one juice a day will make a huge difference. It will alkalize the body. It will tune you in to these kinds of foods. So the more
a juice a day will keep the doctor away.
I'm sorry?
I say a juice a day can keep the doctor away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely want to keep those allopathic doctors away. We want to keep the good doctors close. But what I love about you is that you help people to prevent. You say it's all about prevention, which is my belief that that is what a doctor should do. A true doctor who cares about his patients, who cares about people, will help them to heal
First, do no
themselves.
harm. First, do no harm. And there are place and time for doctors, but first, do no harm. If all I will do is to harm you in giving you the wrong thing to eat or drink or whatever, then I am doing injustice, I believe. So first, do no harm. That's the rule of thumb. Yes.
Yep. No, it's absolutely.
Right.
That's it. It's
All
unlawful
right,
what they're doing, and they just don't know any better. But some of them are waking up, hopefully. But we really, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for all the studies that you've done, because that has been hard, to get to where you are. It took a lot of determination, a lot of focus and seriousness in order for you to live your mission of helping people. So you really are, such a bright light for our world, and so much information, knowledge, inspiration. And I love how you bring in the writings of the good book and God's word into this, because that has, it's truly been a journey, a spiritual journey for me. The food has been a spiritual journey for me, and reconnecting to my creator, reconnecting to who I really am. And I really feel like they cannot be separate. And I feel like if we're talking about food, if we're talking about health, and we're not talking about God and spirituality, we are missing the mark. That's just my opinion.
The thing is with that is to understand who we are. Because a lot of people always say, why you have to bring in God or talk about spiritual things? It's not that I'm such a spiritual person or perfect person. It's just that I have recognized that I am more than just a physical being. I'm not just a piece of wood existing every day. I have a higher power to answer to. There is someone bigger than me and who created me. So I'm a spiritual being, I'm a physical being, I'm a mental being. All of this is what encompasses who I am. So it comes naturally, understanding that concept, that I have to continually give God glory, give him praise, because the truth is, all the wealth of knowledge that we have is foolishness in his sight. He's the all-wise God. He put these things, because I always tell people, even if you're an atheist or an agnostic or whatever you might choose to be, I always tell people, how did these things get there? All right, it didn't happen by a bing bang, it didn't happen by accident. Some wise creator or some wise being had to put all of this stuff together and have it so readily available for us, even after many years of being on this existence of this earth. And so that's why I have to always give respect to where it is due, and I will always give respect to the God Almighty, because I have seen things that I used to can't overcome. I mean, alcoholic consumption, a whole lot of other stuff that he have delivered me. I was a dipsomaniac in terms of like drinking every day, and I can talk. That's a whole other topic we can talk about. And I have activated my faith in saying, okay, let me try and prove if this God is real. And I have seen that he have delivered me from a lot of things, and even things that I still struggle with, he is still working with me. So I know he's real. I see his hands, and I have seen the evidence in my own life, and I am thankful to God that he is a good God and he still shines his mercy on us every day.
Amen. Amen. Oh my goodness. Well, we are testimonies. You are a testimony of God's glory and how he works in our hearts when we surrender. When we surrender, that's like the key thing I feel, because our ego mind has such a hard time sometimes to conceptualize what God is. And, sometimes because we can't see it, it's hard to have faith in something we can't see. But he works in all of us in different ways, and he brings us to our knees, in order to, find a different way. And, for me, it was really about like saying, I don't have the answers, and I am so scared I don't want to die. And that's when he literally saved me. He literally saved me too from drugs and alcohol. And I still had a hard time wrapping my head around that concept. But as I was seeing miracles in my life, as I was seeing the healing happening and the people coming into my life, and I was like, all right, this is real. There is nothing not real about this. And yeah, I just fully surrendered. And the more I do, the more he shows his glory in me and through me, you know, like he is working through me every single day, so many miracles, and those around me, you know. So there's a saying that says, if you take a step towards God, if you walk towards God, he will run to you, you know, he will run to you. All he needs is like an opening. All he needs is a maybe. I feel just a maybe and an opening, and just allow the spirit to flow through you, and he really will, you know, help you with, you know, in AA we say, you know, give to God what I can't deal with, you know, like give it to him. So he does help us with things that, you know, but that takes a
Yeah,
level of humility to say that, you know,
yeah,
because we think, oh, I could
yeah,
handle
and to
everything and I can
recognize,
do it all and I don't need
yeah, and to
help.
recognize who you are, right? You know, we have to recognize that we are really just dust. From the dust of the earth we came. From there we go. No matter how much money we have, what status quo we have, we are all going to the same place, to dust.
Yeah.
And so we are vapor. We are nothing really without God. That's my conclusion. The very breath of life we have that we breathe every day. I get up every day and I'm just thankful that I get up and I have life. And you know, what I was thinking as I closed just now was the whole system of the sanctuary, you know. There's a text that says, without the shedding of blood, there is no remission for sin. And we talk about blood cleansing, but the truth is the greatest blood cleansing took place when Jesus did a blood transfusion for you and I, Aline, and for this world, shedding his blood, his precious blood for you and I. And that was pure blood. When in the sanctuary system, when they used to kill a lamb, which was a symbol of Christ, he was the Lamb of God, that blood had to be without blemish. It had to be pure, that they were going to cut from that lamb. That lamb itself had to be pure and without blemish. And so indirectly that blood had to be pure and without blemish so that it could heal. So the same way we have talked about the physical healing when we have pure blood, spiritually the blood has never lost its power. That blood that was shed 2,000 years plus on the cross, as we know it, as we believe by faith, because we weren't there, but we believe this and we acknowledge it and we accept it. That blood have never lost its power, and it's still available to cleanse and to heal us even this day.
Amen. Amen. Jesus is...
I have calls coming in and I have an idea of these people calling. So I'm so sorry. I will make sure I don't use my phone the next time. And I am still learning on this technological advancement. But I hope the messages have been brought clear and have been brought out, no?
Absolutely. Jesus is King, and he is with us, and he has guided us together today to share this message. And I look forward to doing this with you again. We have so many other topics to talk about, and so we will definitely do some more of these.
Definitely we'll be back. We have a lot to talk. I want to talk about the immunity next. There's so much to talk about the immune system, and I believe we need to have a strong immune system as we are winding down and going to these last days. So that will be another topic soon to discuss. Aline, it was a pleasure being here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. God bless you. Keep up the good job. You are doing a tremendous, terrific, and amazing work. I am so blessed to be a friend, a health partner with you here, and I want to wish you the best, man, and only the best for your future.
Thank you. Can't wait to get back to Belize and give you a big hug.
Yes, please do. Take care. Thank you. I'll see you on our next show.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who came on today and shared with us. So good. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.